Once you see the structure, performance becomes a liability. Most men, after recognizing hierarchy, make the same mistake. They try to act dominant. They deepen their voice, slow their walk, reduce their smiles, force eye contact. This is theater, and theater is readable. The room immediately detects effort, and effort is interpreted as a request for status. Real repositioning is not an attitude shift. It is an operational redesign of your behavior under observation. Because rank is not granted to the most aggressive individual. Rank stabilizes around the person whose nervous system does not get recruited by the environment. You are not trying to look powerful. You are removing the signals that place you below others. The first adjustment is entry strategy. Low-ranking individuals enter spaces with urgency. They look for where to stand, who to greet, how to integrate. Their eyes scan for permission. Their body asks a question before their mouth speaks. High-ranking movement is different. You enter without searching for orientation from others. You pause, not to perform, but to map the environment before participating in it. This pause does something profound. It communicates that you are not dependent on immediate social absorption. You are capable of existing without being acknowledged. Your presence is self-contained. The room registers this before a single word is spoken. The second adjustment is interaction timing. Most people speak to avoid silence. You will now speak only when speech changes positioning. That means you do not rush to answer questions. You do not fill conversational gaps. You do not verbally process in public. When you respond, it is after a brief stillness, the stillness of evaluation, not hesitation. That delay rewrites the hierarchy. Because the person who controls when interaction happens is the one others unconsciously wait for, and waiting is submission. The third adjustment is reward control. Attention, eye contact, laughter, verbal validation, these are not social reflexes anymore. They are status currency. Low-ranking individuals distribute them equally to be liked. You will distribute them selectively. Not based on emotion, based on structure. You give full presence to those who are ignored by the dominant figure, those who contribute without demanding recognition, those who stabilize the room instead of agitating it. This does two things simultaneously. It builds silent alliances, and it positions you as an alternative gravitational center. You are no longer reacting to the hierarchy. You are reorganizing it through attention flow. The fourth adjustment is emotional climate control. Every environment has a baseline tension level. Most people are moved by it. You will become the one who defines it. When others become animated, you slow down. When others rush, you reduce movement. When others escalate, your tone becomes quieter, not louder. This creates contrast, and power is always assigned through contrast. The nervous systems in the room begin to regulate around yours, not because you demanded it, but because you are the only stable reference point. At that moment, a reversal occurs. You are no longer being scanned. You become the one who others are unconsciously orienting toward for calibration. The fifth adjustment is information discipline. Low-ranking individuals explain their reasoning, their intentions, their background, their emotions to prevent misinterpretation. You will now do the opposite. You will answer the question that was asked, nothing more. State conclusions without narrating the entire mental process. Allow others to sit with incomplete access to your internal state. This does not make you mysterious for aesthetic reasons. It makes you difficult to model. And the human brain assigns higher rank to what it cannot easily predict. The sixth adjustment is non-reactive boundary enforcement. When interrupted, you do not speed up. You stop speaking. You let the interruption fully happen. Then you continue from where you left off. No apology, no visible irritation, no justification. This single behavior communicates, my trajectory is not altered by your movement. That is dominance in its most refined form, not control over others, but immunity to control attempts. Over time, these behaviors produce a structural shift. People begin to lower their tone when addressing you, wait for your reaction before forming their own, reduce attempts to redirect you, seek your acknowledgement as a stabilizing signal. You did not demand respect. You became the least influenceable organism in the room, and hierarchy always rises around that point. This is the critical psychological transition. You are no longer trying to win interactions. You are building a consistent behavioral pattern that makes lower positioning impossible to assign to you. Not through force, through lack of accessible leverage. Because leverage requires your need for approval, your need to be understood, your need to resolve tension quickly, your need to respond immediately. All of those have now been removed. What remains is a man whose reactions are not automatic, whose attention is not freely given, whose emotional state is not externally adjustable, whose participation is self-directed. This is when the room updates your rank, not consciously, not verbally, structurally. And here is the paradox most people never understand. You did not become more dominant, you became less available for control. That behavior rewrites status in every competitive hierarchy that has ever existed. Because the individual who cannot be moved becomes the fixed point around which others reorganize. And the fixed point is always perceived as power.